Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to Overcoming Apathy in Worldly Life, Swami Sarapyananda. So, I will say this embarrassing thing here. I've heard apathy very few times in my life, and the times that I've heard it, I didn't quite figure out what it really meant, so I had to Google that. So it's the lack of interest, basically, in the world, or concern. Apathetic. I've heard that too, but still, the way they said it, I couldn't quite figure it out. Again, heard it less than 10 times in my life. Probably, honestly, like 5 times in my life, maybe. So, overcoming lack of concern or lack of interest in worldly life. And I also thought about a few minutes, like, how do you overcome that? And I'm trying to think, have I ever thought about that or questioned it? I honestly never have. Because it doesn't seem, at least I've never experienced it, and I've never really talked to anyone who was not interested in something or concerned. Concerned? Well, being concerned is, give or take. Sometimes you're concerned with some things and not in others, but to lack interest in worldly life. Yeah, I've never met anyone, so I've never thought about this. So let's see what Swami has to say about this. If it's gonna go like everything in life, apathetic of it? Wow.
First one is from Vivek. How should I use this knowledge of the I being the eternal witness, separated from body and mind, to successfully perform the duty I have to do as a worldly person and achieve the goals I have set forward? This knowledge brings my mind to peace, but still I am unable to use this knowledge for the purpose of fulfilling my duty as a person in the world. Then from Alok, at this stage of my life, the preoccupation with earning money for a stable life makes me do work which I do not necessarily like, but also cannot leave. This makes my mind restless, coupled with the feeling that I am neglecting my spiritual life. How do I find peace in such a situation? And from Ravi, seeing how temporary life is and the futility in striving for possessions and position, I find myself lacking the passion to do anything. Serve others doesn't seem convincing, as suffering problems are fundamental to the nature of life. Birth brings with it the problems of sustenance. Even if one dedicates oneself to serving humanity, his or her work can at best be described as an attempt to plug a hole in a ship with a million holes that will inevitably sink. How should one live? And how and where can one find meaning and purpose? And lastly, from Abhilash, throughout your lectures, the truth most evident is that God, realization, and attainment of oneness is the prime goal of life. Is there not any way to marry this aim with the attainment of worldly perfection? If not, then toiling day and night for a Nobel Prize or Turing Award seems to be as petty as being an ignorant glutton. So if we can be successful, in quotes, and attain fulfillment in this life, then how should we go about it?
I guess the quickest answer I would have for that from my watching of these videos is Dharma. If I remember correctly, your Dharma. You, just because you become enlightened doesn't mean that you relinquish your duties in this world as a father, mother, child, brother, whatever, as whatever you do as a worker, as a citizen of your nation, as a person on earth. You do not relinquish your duty in that just because you've gained enlightenment, as far as my understanding is concerned, which is honestly great and fantastic, because I had this problem with Western religion. If this world is meaningless, what's the point of staying here? But it answers it a little bit in this one, because Dharma means you just, I mean, it doesn't fully answer it, but the fact that you still have a duty in this place, even if this is a Maya or false reality. And I will also answer some of the questions I can answer from that, and it goes back to my world religion class, where whatever it is that you're doing in life, give it 110%. I'm not quoting it verbatim, but it's coming from the Buddhism that I've learned, which really, really had an impact on my life. And it's basically give it 110% and expect nothing from it. Don't expect anything at all from it. And that's basically, that was the basic thing. And I was like, and also it said if it turns out good, that's fantastic. If it turns out bad, well, you were not expecting anything from it. So essentially, you'll never be disappointed. And that really had a big impact on my life. And I in that moment in college, by the way, I think it was first or second year college, that it made me think about all the times that I in my past, my younger years, where I was going to school wanting A's and being very happy with A's or whatever grade it happens to be, and make me realize that I was just really wanting the best, which is not a problem, but being disappointed if I didn't get it, which can be a problem. I guess so. One of the answers would be just to do things in life, but don't expect anything from it. It doesn't quite fully answer all their questions, although I can't wait for Swami to answer it, because some of them seem like they don't get any joys in life, which is very strange. I've never had anyone still see joy. Like, I'm sure. Well, okay, real quick. For example, me, I guess the rules that Swami Sarvarpiyananda says, there's the three things that makes people happy, and the fourth one that he has, which is eternal bliss. I forget what they are precisely. The first one is about like temporary joy, like alcohol or money or something like that, buying you something. Second one is like doing something, I believe, but not necessarily for someone else. And the one that gives you the greatest joy is serving people, doing things for people. And the fourth one is, of course, getting enlightenment. But yeah, I don't know. I've never really met anyone that hasn't quite fulfillment for serving other people. Perhaps they're, I think they're called psychopaths, not the bad kind. I can't remember what it's called, but basically they don't feel empathy or concern with other people. They don't necessarily want to harm them. It's just that they don't have that connection with people. It's strange. Let's go ahead and hear what he has to say about this one. I'm curious.
All right, I'm glad you've clubbed those questions together. You see what beautiful questions they are. They're written with a lot of feeling and seriousness, because you can see it comes from the person's present struggle in life. First, a little philosophical background, and then we'll go to the application. Look at the language used. I see that I am the witness of body and mind, and this gives me peace. Different from body and mind, then obviously different from everybody else. I'm different from everybody else. Now you have taught me I'm different from the body, I'm different from the mind. I'm the witness, unchanging witness of a changing mind, changing body. It gives me peace. But I don't feel the urge to do anything more then. How do I live my life then? Because this witness consciousness is unaffected by this life. Whatever happens, happens. And the similar kind of questions have come. The other questions are also. In the struggle of life, first of all, is it worthwhile? And how do I do it? With what attitude? Is it at all relevant to spirituality if I am the eternally separate, unchanging witness of all of this? This happens when you leave Advaita incomplete. I have said again and again, in Advaita Vedanta, 2 steps are important. One is stepping back from the body and mind in your understanding and see that you are the witness of body, mind and everything else. But that's only one step. This is called Atma Anatma Vichara, the distinction between the true self and the not self. Why is this necessary? Because right now we have mixed up the true self with what is not the self. Who am I or what am I? I'm consciousness, pure consciousness, Atma, Satchidananda, but actually, practically, I think and behave in a way as if, yes, I'm consciousness, no doubt, but I am also mind. All these thoughts, I am. Angry, I am angry. Desirous, I am desirous. Depressed, I am depressed. apathetic. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. I don't say there is a wave of apathy arising in the light in my consciousness, so it arises and disappears. I am unattached. No, I don't say that. I am apathetic. Body. I am old or young or diseased or overweight or skinny. All of this body. So I am attached with the body and mind. I have included it in my definition of the self, in what I am. So that has to be excluded. That is the first step. Otherwise, I will not come to a correct understanding of what I am. That is called Atma Anatma Vichara. The Shankaracharya, in his famous hymn, Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. But what does he say first? Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chittani Naham. I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the memory, I am not the senses, I am not this body made of 5 elements. I am the witness consciousness. So first, neti neti, not this, you must first get clarity, really feel, I am this immortal consciousness. But that's only the first step. There's one more important step to be taken. If you stop there, it is a bit like Sankhya philosophy. But there's one more important step to be taken. This is not Advaita. It is not non-duality. How can it be non-duality? Because now I am pure consciousness, and here everything else, there are millions of things different from me. How is it not two? Yeah, it is millions of things. One consciousness and so many other things. Atma, Anatma. The next step is to reduce the Anatma to the Atma. That all these things I saw separately from myself are also myself. Yes, mind is also consciousness. Body is also nothing other than consciousness. In fact, the entire universe is nothing other than you, the consciousness. You alone are in the form of everything. You are one with everything. They are not separate, valueless things which you can dispense and walk away unconcerned. It's all one. It's one with you. Everybody is you yourself. So that is the second step. Swami Vivekananda put it very powerfully. 2 things he said. The divinity within us and the oneness of the universe. Central teaching of Vedanta. The divinity within us and the oneness of the universe. These 2. Otherwise, this problem will come. Alienation from the world. I am a witness consciousness. What about the others? Doesn't matter. Earlier alienated from every other person, but I hugged my body mind to myself. Now I'm alienated from body mind also. Extra problem. Vedantic problem. This example of the clay pot. What the example of the clay pot is, take a pot, it's a pot, but then you're told that actually there is something called clay apart from the pot, which is the cause of this pot. It is the material out of which the pot is made. The pot is not an entity. The clay is an entity. So clay is the cause, pot is the effect. But you...
Swami Tadatmadanda explained that really well, and I'm glad to keep using the same things. It's really nice.
So you have separated clay and pot in your mind. If you stop there, all these problems will come. You have to go one step further. What is one step further? That there is no clay and pot. It's not 2 things. It is one thing only. And what is that one thing? You started by thinking it's a pot. You should end up by thinking it's clay and clay alone. That is the purpose of the procedure. You start by thinking it's world, body, mind. And you end up by thinking, I, Brahman alone, am all of this. Aham Brahmasmi, Brahme Vedam Sarvam, Atme Vedam Sarvam. I am Brahman. Brahman alone is all of this. The self, the real self, I alone am all of this. If you stop in between, I am separate, world is separate, then you have got 2 real things. World, body, mind, world, one thing, and I, the consciousness, one thing. That's not the correct, that's not the end of Advaita. That's not the that is not non-dualism. You stop with clay and pot, obviously it's false. There are not 2 things. Can you show me separately? Clay separately, pot separately? No. Then the clay pot theory becomes problematic. Alan Watts, he called it the crackpot theory. The clay pot theory, if you don't complete it, from pot vision, ghata drishti to mrittika drishti, in Sanskrit very beautifully, pot vision to clay vision, without doing anything to the pot. You leave it unharmed, but you change your paradigm. From world, samsara drishti to brahma drishti. Sarvam brahmamayam jagat. Once this drishti comes, then these problems will not arise. You have oneness with everything. Whatever you have to do in that station of life, you will do with gusto and enthusiasm, and yet with perfect detachment. One Swami put it in one phrase to me many, many years ago, more than 20 years ago. I asked the question about karma yoga. How can one do work without desire? One needs a motivation to work. How can you do work without desire? And he said, disinterested work, my boy, not uninterested work. In English, the word disinterested and uninterested are different. Uninterested means, you say in Hindi, chalta hai. Let it somehow finish up the work. There is no need to do it. I'm not getting anything out of it, so just somehow finish it. I'm not interested. Telling me to do it, okay, I'll do it. But disinterested means, the meaning of disinterested is that I don't have an axe to grind. I don't have a personal motive behind it. A disinterested party. I can work with full enthusiasm. You're doing puja out of devotion to God. How carefully you do puja. Your thoughts, your speech, your actions, all the articles, everything is done so carefully and beautifully and seriously. And yet you don't want anything back there. Can you do all the work in the world like that? It'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
So,
I will say that's another thing too that I had kind of an issue with Western, or I keep saying Western religion, but Abrahamic religion, is the fact that a lot of the things in the in the books tend to be because there is something to gain by doing it. And I find that to be problematic because there's an incentive to do something. And now that incentive is two things: to go to heaven and not go to hell. Not to eternal bliss and not burn an eternity in hell. So there's a massive incentive. As a matter of fact, there's 100% incentive to do what is being said in the book. Because you want to be happy forever, you don't want to be tortured forever. And that's one of my problems with the I keep saying Western Abrahamic religions, or at least the religions that have that incentive-based thing.
That is spiritualizing life. That happens when you have, not to pot drishti, clay drishti, but from samsar drishti to brahma drishti. Everything is my beloved God. So the suffering person is also my beloved Lord. The duty is also the puja of which I'm going to give to my Lord. So why you feel apathy? Because the worldly goal does not pull you anymore, and that's good.
Yes.
That's why you feel apathy. The worldly goal does not pull you. You've seen through it now. It doesn't excite you anymore. Now that worldly goal has to be replaced by a spiritual goal. Until I am liberated, until I get moksha, nirvana, I must spiritualize all my activities. If I become apathetic, that is tamasic, not sattvic.
I was going to say, they considered themselves. Did they consider themselves enlightened at the very beginning? I know they say they can separate themselves from their bodies. They can realize their true self. Separate themselves from their bodies. And I like the way Swami has answered that question by, first and foremost, by seeing everyone as yourself, and therefore you want to take care of everyone else as well. And that's something that Sadhguru has said as well, is that you expand yourself to everyone in the room first and foremost, and then to the world. There's another thing he said. I have such bad memory, but
it doesn't excite you anymore.
Oh yeah, the disinterested versus uninteresting work. But I was hoping to get like a very clear answer about people who are no longer find the world interesting, but how do they continue their work in the world? And I was thinking about the yogas actually, but I stopped. Like, I think it was somewhere in the middle where I had that's like, oh, the yogas, you have to kind of do that. It's like, but wait, you said you were able to separate yourself. That once you're enlightened, you are no longer bound by the different yogas: karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga. I don't know about Raja. I know the three original yoga, the three yogas you're not bound by. You're not bound by your karmic yoga either, because the karmic yoga still continues on with the body, but you yourself are liberated once you have become enlightened. Let's see that last bit. He explained it right there.
The duty is also the puja of which I'm going to give to my Lord. So why you feel apathy? Because the worldly goal does not pull you anymore. World like that, it'll be wonderful.
Yeah.
So your
people working around the world without the need of a gain for something, and that'd be really nice. That's going to be impossible though.
that is spiritualizing life. That happens when you not to pot drishti, clay drishti, but from samsar drishti to brahma drishti. Everything is my beloved God. So the suffering person is also my beloved Lord. The duty is also the puja of which I'm going to give to my Lord. So why you feel apathy? Because the worldly goal does not pull you anymore, and that's good. That's why you feel apathy. The worldly goal does not pull you. You've seen through it now. It doesn't excite you anymore. Now that worldly goal has to be replaced by a spiritual goal. Until I am liberated, until I get moksha, nirvana.
So basically, I guess from what I'm understanding, is the fact that you replace your worldly goal with a spiritual world, and what that spiritual world is to see everyone else as you, an extension of you, not an extension of yourself, but you. And then because it's you, you must take care of yourself. Therefore, you will take care of the people by your karma yoga, your karmic actions. You must devote yourself spiritually, bhakti yoga, doing all your actions for God, your devotion to God through your actions as well, through karma yoga, and also jnana yoga. I don't know what knowledge do you have to gain. I'm guessing maybe the scriptures, I believe. Oh, or maybe the knowledge of oneself that you are the Atman and not the body and mind. And then you continue that path until you obtain nirvana or moksha. But I guess maybe I should get a better understanding of moksha and nirvana. I don't know, is that something that you obtain when you die? Or is that something that you can attain while you're still alive? If you're still alive and you obtain that, do you still need to continue to do your spiritual goals? And I thought that might have been the question originally. Now, if you can only get moksha and nirvana once you're dead, then obviously you continue your goals until you have passed. Anyways, let me know. Let me know down in the comments below. And that's my reaction to overcoming apathy in the worldly life. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.